trick 2, they take the guitar out and they trade it in for $1,800, and the guitar was $2,800, and on a credit card it was only $1,000. That's trick 2. Trick 3. This is the really evil one. The guy bought all his guitars the same color, so she wouldn't know he had more than That's trick.
That's a good one.
That's trick. All the same color, right?
Yes.
So we were at a clinic, and I think you were there, and this guy's in the corner, and there's 1,000 people in the tent, and he has 13 PRSs, and he wants a 14th. And he said, but my wife won't let me have it. I said, put her on the phone. The place howled.
Okay, that's one of your moves, though.
Yeah, so we put her on the phone, and I liked her more than I liked him by a lot. And told her that I liked, in front of everybody. It's on YouTube. You can watch this whole thing on YouTube. And I says, he's got 13. He wants a 14. She goes, on the phone, she goes, he has how many? And I said to him, I said, you're telling me 1,200 people know how many you have and your wife doesn't? Oh, I was honest. I was on him. We brought her to the next experience, put him in a straitjacket, sat him on the stage, and gave her the private stock he always wanted, after she swore to God he'd never be able to touch it. And that's a true story.
I was there. I remember the straitjacket.
Yeah, we put him in a straitjacket. He said, I said, your kid's watching. Stop moving. Anyway,
how'd you happen to have a straitjacket with you?
We bought one.
Oh.
And we had a couple of ununiformed cops put it on him. It was not the strength of a real one, but it was real. I mean, tied in the back and the whole bit. Right? You can get them. You know, oh God, what fun! What fun! We gave her a prototype of a private stock that we would never sell. Oh, and she looked at me for 45 seconds. I asked in front of everybody, "Do you promise that you'll never give him the guitar and it's your guitar?" And she just kept staring at me and staring at me and staring at me, trying to figure out if she could keep the promise. In front of everybody. The air was electric, you remember?
Yeah, it was quiet.
Was just
it was kind of slightly awkward.
I was there. She finally said yes. I said, it's yours. The women in the place stood up. All the women in the place stood up and went nuts that we'd given her the guitar, not him, right? Out of all these people that were at the event, the person that got the gear was her, right? What I really enjoyed the whole thing, his name's Hans. Remember Hans?
Yeah, Hans.
Yeah, he was in charge of the forum after that. So, so I just, to honor both of you coming to support. Now, did either of you play those games that I talked about with the guitars?
I just keep buying them.
They keep buying them.
Home and there's shipping boxes.
Hanging on the wall.
You get her a guitar for her birthday, but it's the color you wanted.
Oh, that's 4.
That's four.
My daughter does that. She gives me presents of stuff she wanted.
That's smart.
No, I want fishing gear. She gave me perfume. That's all that about.
Oh,
so do you play any of these games?
No.
She says yes.
Yeah.
She says yes, you say no.
I see him. I see the games. He preps, he's already been prepping me for today. I can tell something's going to be fun.
All right, so here's where the rubber hits the road. If I look at someone like this and I say, do you deserve it? Every time they say yeah. I mean, people work hard. And I can tell you there's a lot of ways to get out of pain. And guitars are very, very low on the problem list. So I bought a piece of gear today. I just did it.
Yeah.
I found
you got to pay for that. So you got to work it out.
I know. I found 2 old reverbs. One of them was used on the Guns N' Roses record in the back room, sitting under a bunch of garbage. It's an old Roland SRV 2000 digital reverb. Really old piece of gear. Looks like I'll be taking it home today. So, I like to trade for gear. So what I'll do is I'll find a bunch of stuff that I have that I don't use anymore. And even if it looks nice, if I'm not using it, I get rid of it. And I traded about 5 things for an old AKG spring reverb unit that's 4 feet high that the Beatles used on a lot of their records. And it's sitting in my studio. and I'm sitting here, I wanna go home and hook that thing.
You guys ever seen a studio before? There's some pretty, there's some photos floating around. There's some pretty interesting stuff in there, like the big reverb tanks, right? You guys ever seen a big, like an actual like reverb tank, like the old school ones? They're the size, they look like a Fender Rhodes, like packed up on its side. They're like, how big is that thing? The one downstairs?
9 feet
It's
long.
9 feet long.
Yeah, I sold them both.
You sold them? Okay. You are a gear whore.
I'm
It's the worst. He's like the worst one out of all of us. It's great.
but it's not guitars. I'm a one guitar guy. I'm happy. That guitar makes me happy. So,
Was that a studio piece of equipment, or did guys actually take that on the road?
oh no, AKG reverb unit, it's 4 feet high. It's a piece of studio.
Yeah.
They advertised it as more mobile. The problem with the old EMT plates that were 9 feet long, once you put them down, you couldn't move them. This thing, you could put on wheels and move around the studio, and they spent 9 years trying to take EMT's business away from them. And they're legendary devices. They're called BX20s, and they're wonderful devices. So I got it. I traded for it. I didn't put any money on the credit card. I told her about it. She was fine with it.
What's fair game when it's a trade?
It's fair game when it's a trade, right?
But you can't. The biggest mistake.
Yeah, but he don't want to trade. Look at the look on his face.
Yeah.
No.
You can't do it with cash, because as soon as you get the cash, it's like, oh, I got these bills over here. Then you're like, wait a minute, I need a guitar to play.
All right, so I had a thought about how to present PRS guitars today, and I want to try something new on you guys. So what do you do for a living?
Mechanic,
You're a mechanic. And what do you do for a living?
IT,
Huh?
technician,
You're a
IT.
technician. Okay, so we're guitar makers and guitar players by trade. That's what we do. I'm a guitar maker. He's a guitar player. So can you play him one of those? They had a thing in Guitar World. Bet you can't play this lick. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
The guy would put a video up of whoever the artist of the month was. Put a video up and
Yeah.
bet the world they couldn't play the lick. Right? All right. So what was the lick?
We'll do it. Let's do it clean.
Yeah.